students, welcome to Interconnecting Physics. Today I will explain you the capacitance of spherical capacitor and capacitance of cylindrical capacitor in detail. In last video we discussed the capacitance of parallel plate capacitor in detail. So without wasting time, let's get started. For regular updates you can follow me on given links. So capacitance of spherical capacitors. Before doing this, let us discuss what is spherical capacitor. Spherical capacitor basically consists of two concentric shells, okay, of radii A and B. Let us say we have two spherical shells A, capital A and B. This inner spherical shell may be hollow or may be solid, okay, but the outer should be a hollow because only then this inner sphere can be fit inside this hollow sphere, okay. So let us say the radii of inner sphere is A and the radii of outer sphere is B. Outer shell is small b, okay. So this is the construction of spherical capacitor, and plus q charge is given to inner shell and minus q charge is given to outer shell. So we have to find the capacitance of this spherical capacitor, and we know the formula for capacitance, that is C equal to Q over V. It means in order to find the capacitance of this capacitor, we have to find the potential difference between these two capacitors. Here we have to find the potential difference, the space between two shells here, okay. And in order to find potential difference, we have to find electric field intensity between these two shells, okay. So let us find the electric field intensity between these two shells. So let us draw a Gaussian sphere of radius r, Gaussian sphere in between these two shells of radius r, such that r is greater than this inner radius and r is less than this outer radius, that is r is greater than inner radius and r is less than b, okay. Now to find the electric field, let us apply Gauss theorem, that is closed integration of E dot ds equal to q over epsilon naught. Now you see here the electric field direction is from positive to negative, because electric field line starts from positive charge and end on negative charge. Electric field line starts from positive charge and end on negative charge. So direction of electric field will be radially outward, And let us consider small area element here, whose area vector is normal to this surface and is directed in outward direction. Normal to the surface and outward. So it means angle between E vector and ds vector is 0 degree. So when we open up this E vector dot ds vector, we get E ds cos theta. Theta is 0 degree and cos 0 is 1. So we can write closed integration of E ds equal to q over epsilon naught. Now E can be taken out from the closed integration because Gaussian sphere, what is the key point of Gaussian sphere? Gaussian sphere should be symmetric. And here the Gaussian sphere is symmetric. If here the radius, suppose this point is M, here radius is R. If we consider another point, here radius will be R, here radius will be R. And this means electric field at every point of the Gaussian surface will be constant. So it means E can be taken outside from the integration. Now this closed integration of ds is the surface area of the Gaussian sphere, because we are applying the Gauss theorem on the Gaussian surface. So it means it is the surface area of the Gaussian sphere, and the area will be 4 pi r square, because r is the radius of the Gaussian surface. So electric field inside the two shells is q over 4 pi epsilon naught r square, okay. Now let us find potential difference. So what is potential difference? It is the work done in moving a charge from one point to another point, okay. So one point means on the shell B and another point means on the shell A. So from B to A, so potential difference will be minus integration from B to A, outer shell to inner shell, E dot dr. Now dr, let us suppose we have here dr, okay, dr. then the direction of dr will be radially outward, and electric field is also in the radially outward direction. So means angle between E vector and dr vector will be 0 degree. So again E dr cos theta, theta becomes 0 and cos 0 will be 1. So we are left with E dr. Put the value of E, that is 4 pi, q over 4 pi epsilon naught r square. Take the constant terms out from the integration, that is q over 4 pi epsilon naught. Now let us find the integration of 1 over r square dr. We use the formula x raised to power n dx. Okay, and the integration of x raised to power is x raised to power n plus 1 divided by n plus 1. So let us apply this formula here. So r in numerator will become minus 2 dr, which is equal to, apply this formula, r minus 2 plus 1 divided by minus 2 plus 1, and it is r raised to power minus 1 divided by minus 1, that is minus 1 over r. Minus 1 over r. So minus will be taken outside, minus minus will become plus. Okay, so q over 4 pi epsilon naught upper limit 1 over a minus lower limit 1 over b. So take LCM, b goes here, a goes here. So b minus a over 4 pi epsilon naught ab. So this is the potential difference between the two shells. Now let us find capacitance q over v. Put the value of v. This 4 pi epsilon naught ab will come in the numerator, and q cancels with q, and the result is 4 pi epsilon naught ba over b minus a. So this is the capacitance of spherical capacitor, and you see the value of capacitance depends upon the radius of inner shell and the radius of outer shell. Now let us see, this spherical capacitor can be converted into isolated spherical capacitor or parallel plate capacitor. Let us see, let us discuss the special cases. Number 1, if outer shell of radius b is very far away from the inner sphere, that is BA is here and B is very far away. Let us discuss, it is at infinity. Let us say it is at infinity. It means we consider only this. What is isolated? Isolated means alone. Isolated sphere means single sphere. Okay, and the other sphere we consider it as infinity. We consider it at infinity. Okay, so when we consider the second sphere at infinity, then b minus a will become b, because we are subtracting something from infinity, answer will be infinity. Okay, so means b minus a will be b, so we put b minus a b, and b cancels out with b, and the answer is 4 pi epsilon a. Okay, and in last video we discussed the capacitance of spherical capacitor having radius r will be 4 pi epsilon naught r. So means this relation is matching with this relation. So it means capacitance of isolated spherical capacitor is 4 pi epsilon naught A, and this spherical capacitor can be converted into isolated spherical capacitor when B is very far away, that is B is very greater than A. Okay. Now case number 2. If both spherical shells are of large radius, and approximately equal radius. Let us say A is very large, B is very large, and they are approximately equal. Let us say B is 100 centimeter and A is 99.9 centimeter. So both are approximately equal, but the difference, the small difference, we denote it as D. Okay. Then the main formula for spherical capacitor, which we calculated here, will become, now you see B minus A. Don't put it as 0, means both are equal. You can put no, you can put 0. No, this is not possible. B minus A, we consider it as D. Okay. Don't put 0 here. Otherwise capacitance will become infinity. Now B is approximately equal to A. So let us save A into A. Now A square divided by D. This 4 pi into A square will become surface area of the sphere. So 4 pi A square is A epsilon naught divided by D. So this will become the formula for parallel plate capacitor. It means spherical capacitor can be converted into parallel plate capacitor when both shells are of large radius and approximately equal radius. Okay. So this was about spherical capacitor. Now capacitance of cylindrical capacitor. So before doing that, let us discuss what is cylindrical capacitor. Cylindrical capacitor consists of two coaxial cylindrical shells. One is this, which is drawn by orange, okay, and second one is this is blue cylinder. One is orange, another is blue. So consists of two coaxial cylindrical shells, each of length L. Both have length L and inner radii A and outer radii B and charges plus Q and minus Q respectively. Okay, it is like shuttle box. Okay, shuttle box when you play badminton, it's shuttle box. One is large shuttle box and one is small shuttle box, and both are fit inside. And this the medium. This time we consider the medium between these two cylinders. We consider it as free space. This time we consider it as free space. Means vacuum or air. Okay, so these are two coaxial cylinders having length L, inner radii A and outer radii B. So this is the cylindrical capacitor. So in order to find the capacitance, which is Q over V, we have to find the potential difference here between these two. Here we have to find the potential difference, okay, in between the two cylinders, okay. And in order to find potential difference, we have to calculate electric field intensity between these two cylinders. So let us discuss. So in order to find electric field intensity, let us draw Gaussian cylinder of radius r. So let us draw Gaussian cylinder of radius r. R is greater than A but R is less than B, means in between these two cylinders, drawn by this dotted green lines. Okay. Now in order to find electric field, let us apply Gauss theorem on this Gaussian cylinder, that is closed integration of E dot ds equal to Q over epsilon naught. Now this Gaussian cylinder is divided into three parts: upper part, lower part and this curved part. Okay. Now upper part, the area vector will be normal to the surface and outward. Let us say area vector in this direction. And electric field, electric field direction, you see here, if we see upper part, this is inner cylinder upper part, this is upper part of the outer cylinder. Okay. So you see, inner cylinder is positively charged and outer cylinder is negatively charged. You see here negative charge, and the direction is from positive to negative. Direction is from positive to negative, that is directly outward from positive to negatively. Okay, so it means direction of electric field will be in this direction E, and area vector will be normal ds vector. Then angle between E vector and ds vector will be 90 degree. Will be 90 degree. The angle between E vector and ds vector will be 90 degree, because this electric field will be radially outward. This, and the ds vector will be normal to the surface. Then the angle between the ds vector and E vector will be 90 degree. Here also angle between ds vector directly outward and the area electric field vector will be 90 degree. But in the curved part of the cylinder, you see electric field is in this direction, radially outward, and ds vector, if we consider small area of element ds here, then area vector will be directly outward and normal to the surface, and E vector and ds vector are in the same direction. So here for the curved part, the angle between ds vector and E vector will be 0. Okay, so E ds cos theta, and theta is 0 degree, cos 0 is 1. So E ds equal to Q over epsilon naught. E can be taken outside, because what is Gaussian surface? The Gaussian surface is the surface at every point of which the electric field is same because of symmetry. Okay, so now the surface area of the curved part of this cylinder is 2 pi RL. Then electric field will be E equal to Q over 2 pi epsilon naught RL. You know what is lambda? Lambda is charge divided by length. If we write Q over L as lambda, then it will behave as linear charge distribution, as we did earlier in the Gauss theorem chapter. Okay, but we don't write lambda here because we need Q for further use. Okay, now let us find potential difference. So potential difference minus integration from B to A, because work done in moving a charge from outer cylinder to inner cylinder from B to A, E dot dr. Now dr is radially outward, electric field is also radially outward. The angle between E vector and dr vector is 0 degree and cos 0 is 1. So cos 0 is 1. So put the value of E, that is Q over 2 pi epsilon naught R L. Okay, dr. Now take the constant terms outside, that is Q over 2 pi epsilon naught L. And what is the integration of 1 over R? It is log to the base E R. Okay, don't write this formula here, that is x raised to power minus 1. No. This formula is not used here. Okay, here the integration 1 over R is log E R. Okay, so put upper limit log A minus log B, lower limit, and if you convert this into minus, then log B minus log A. So minus minus will be plus. Okay, now log B minus log A, we studied in the lower classes that log Em minus log En is equal to log Em over N. So we use this formula here and we get potential difference between two cylinder A is Q over 2 pi epsilon naught L log B over A. Now let us find capacitance C equal to Q over V. Okay. So put the value of V here. Q cancels out with Q and 2 pi epsilon naught L will come in the numerator. So 2 pi epsilon naught L log B over A. If we want to convert this exponential log into natural log, then this will be multiplied with 2.303, that is 2.303 log to the base 10 B over A. So this is the final value for capacitance of the cylindrical capacitor. Now one point, because here the positive charge is given to inner cylinder and negative charge is given to the outer cylinder. Similarly, in spherical capacitor, positive charge was given to inner cylinder and negative charge was given to outer cylinder. It can be like this. Let us suppose negative charge is given to inner shell and positive charge is given to outer shell. Okay. Then this time the electric field will be radially inward, that is from positive to negative, radially inward. Okay. The result of the capacitance will be same. Okay, but the thing is, when we draw Gaussian surface and we consider area element, small area element, then area vector will be outward and the electric field will be radially inward. So angle will be 180 degree and cos 180 sorry, will become minus 1. Okay, similarly for cylinder, when we consider inner cylinder as negatively charged and outer cylinder as positively charged, the electric field will be radially inward and the cos 180 becomes minus 1. Further result will be same. Okay, result will be same for both the cases. You just try it. If you find any problem, you can ask me in comment section or you can follow me on my Telegram channel for your queries. Okay. Now, let us see concluding part. In last video, we did about the capacitance of parallel plate capacitor and it was C equal to epsilon naught A divided by D. A was the area of both the plates, which was same, and D is the distance between the two plates. Okay. If distance between two plates is small, capacitance of parallel plate capacitor is large, and the area, if area is large, then capacitance is also large. Okay. And when we introduce some dielectric here having constant K, we see capacitance will become K times, capacitance will increase K times the C naught. If we consider it as C naught, okay, then capacitance will increase K times C naught. And this formula is also applicable to spherical capacitor as well as to cylindrical capacitor. Now spherical capacitor capacitance is C equal to 4 pi epsilon naught BA divided by B minus A. And here there were two special cases. Number one, it can be converted into isolated spherical capacitor when outer shell is very far away from the inner shell, that is B is very greater than A, then it will behave as isolated spherical capacitor. Okay. And in case of isolated spherical capacitor, we see the capacitance only depends upon the size, that is the radius. It does not depend upon the area. It does not depend upon the volume of the sphere. Okay. If in exam you are asked that volume of the sphere, volume of the isolated spherical capacitor has been increased, then what will be the capacitance? There will be no effect on the capacitance, because capacitance only depends upon the radius. It does not depend upon the volume or area of the capacitor. Okay. And number 2 special case was, it can be converted into parallel plate if both shells are of large radius and both are of equal radii, that is B is approximately equal to A and B minus A we consider at D, and this will be converted as C naught equal to epsilon naught A divided by D. And this formula C equal to K C naught, if we introduce some dielectric between the two spherical shells, this was positive, this was negative. If we introduce some dielectric here having dielectric constant K, then capacitance of spherical capacitor increases K times the capacitance when there was free space between the shells. Okay. And the cylindrical capacitor capacitance was 2 pi epsilon naught L divided by 2.303 log B over A. So capacitance only depends upon the length of the cylinder and inner radii and outer radii of the two cylinders. Okay. If we introduce some dielectric in the cylindrical capacitor, let us say we have cylindrical capacitor, okay, this is, and we introduce some dielectric here, okay, having dielectric constant K, then the capacitance of the cylindrical capacitor will increase K times the capacitance when we consider there was free space between the two cylindrical capacitors, okay, two plates of the cylindrical capacitor. So this was all about today's lecture. If you have any problem regarding this or you want PDF notes, you can follow me on Telegram channel or you can ask me in comment section. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you very much. Stay happy, stay healthy.